Hey, what's up YouTubers, Lee John Blackmore here at Super Easy Guitar. So how do we learn how to play a solo in minutes? Well, actually, it's really easy, okay? Now this is for beginners, so if you're just starting on guitar, this will be perfect for you. One thing you do have to know, however, are your open chords, okay? So anything with open strings like A, D, C, E, G. So you have to be confident with your open chords, and I'll explain how we can get into learning how to solo straight away, okay? On pretty much anything. Let's zoom in and take a closer look. So hopefully if you're still with me, you know your open chords. Let's just stick with something nice and easy. Let's stick with A. Okay, just a normal A major chord, all right? Or this will also work with an A minor. So whatever you're more comfortable with, okay? Now, I'm gonna explain to you, there are rules behind this, there are names for these kinds of things, but I'm not worried about the theory, the scales. This is just fun to get you started, okay? Now, when we play an A chord, so say you're playing along with a buddy or something, and he's playing an A chord, and you think, well, what am I gonna do? I wanna do something over the top. You want to be doing something cool like that, right? So all I'm doing for A, now this is the general rule, when you play A, you have to come up to the 5th fret on the bottom E string, okay? Now, I don't play that A because we've already got the A going on, all right, in the background. So what I do, I come next door to A on the actual A string, okay, which is the 5th string, sorry. So we always count from thinnest to thickest. So we come over onto the 5th string, next door to this A note. This A note is the 5th fret on the thick string, okay? And it sounds like that. Now all we're gonna do, we're gonna play 4 notes from there, and it kind of looks like a box, okay? So there's our first one. The 5th fret on the A string, the 7th fret on the A string. Then we're going to go next door again, and we're going to go to the D string, the 4th string, and we're going to go 5th fret there, and 7th fret there. So when you look at that shape, it's kind of 4 corners of a box. Now, I wouldn't necessarily play it with one finger like that. That's just so you can see where my fingers are going. So how I would do it, I'd play on the 5th fret, I'd play my 1st finger, then my 3rd finger. Now don't think you have to leave this down, because you don't. You can just bring it off. Bring your 3rd finger over to the 7th fret, then go over to 1st finger on the D string. And there you go, so 5 and 7 on the D. 1st finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger, 3rd finger. So, you've got your friend playing. Nice, okay? Now, you can do any number of things with that, with just those 4 notes. At this point, we don't really care what they're called or anything like that. Now, this is a bit more advanced, but to give you an example, so I was only playing just those 4 notes, and I know I was pretty fast and I was using kind of more advanced stuff, but that's just to give you an example what you can do with just 4 notes on A. Now all you have to do this is just to get you started. So if you've got a song or a looper, I should have put my looper pedal on. 1, 2, 3, 4. say I went to D, you could stay there. Back to A. Okay, so we're getting carried away there. It's just an example, all right? So even though the chords behind are changing, because the key, that like the sound is always sounding like A, it means you can stay there. But I went to D as well, didn't I? Now D is a different place on the bottom E string. So A, we said, was our 5th fret, so we went next door, right? We went next door to the 5th fret on the next string, and we played those 4 notes. Now D is all the way up here on the 10th fret. We go next door. So say you wanted to, you know, say the song was hanging on D. Exactly the same thing, all right? So this at the 10th fret on the bottom E string, that note is D, all right? We go next door and we do that same position, so the 4 corners. So 10, 12 in this case, over to the D string, 10, 12. That's like your little box. Not to be confused with BB's box, that's in blues. We'll get to that another time. Just kind of 4 corners, so that's D at the 10th, and then A at the 5th. Now you don't have to memorize all these, okay? You just start off with one at a time. You know, I always say to people, hang out in A for a while, so you can look up backing tracks on YouTube and you could, you know, jam along with them. There's no right or wrong, it's just soloing, okay? It's just improvising. Improvising is just a flash term for making it up as you go along. So far we've got A, then we played D, and you could move up to D here, and I played E. Now E is a bit confusing, because essentially the 2 notes that we want to play, they're kind of open, they're invisible. So we end up, because there's E, right? So next door to E is going to be A, and to a step up from A is going to be this note here, which is B, so it's going to be the 2nd fret, so that'll be O2. Then you go to the D string, O2. So E is going to be really easy, it's just going to be... However, most of the time, to make it more fun, E's also up here on the 12th fret. Okay, so you could go next door to E on the 12th fret, over onto the A string, and do exactly the same as you did for A and D. G. Say we went to G, okay? There's G, the 3rd fret on the bottom E string, okay? Next door, there's our box again. So it's kind of, they're just patterns that we follow and they repeat all over the fretboard. So with E, we've got 2 options. We can either use the open or the octave, what we call, okay, which it just means it's one higher. So, but sometimes, you know, say the song's going along and say something like that. Now G is kind of like the dominant chord here. It sounds like the one that's playing most. Now that's what we call the key note, all right? You don't really need to worry too much about that, but that just means G is kind of like the dominant chord in the progression, in the group of chords. So therefore, I would use G, our little box under G. So you can experiment with lots of different songs, lots of different chords, but the rule is always the same, all right? So the best thing to do if you want to get really good, learn all the notes on the bottom E string, and that'll help you find your shortcuts. Now these dots, these little inlays I've got here, they're the same as my dots on here, okay? I've got one at 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, and a double at 12th, okay? That just the 2 represents 12, that's all. And I kind of think of it as G, A, B, okay? The next dot is C sharp, we're not too worried about that, and the double dot is E. So G, A, B, golf and balls, however you want to remember it, okay? So all the notes are going to be, obviously the lowest is E, one higher than E, F, F sharp, G, okay, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. So from open or 1 to 12, we can pretty much play over any key note in any song. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's lesson. Please don't forget, give me the thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends. Don't forget to check out the links below, and I'll see you again the same time next week. Enjoy.